Good morning, everybody. So the first thing I do in the morning is I take my alkaline tea right here. I just got a new bag and I put it in one of my tea strainers like this. So I got this sturdy tea strainer because if you guys have seen these tea strainers with a ball on it, those ones like break really quickly. It's like on a ball with a handle, but those break. So I got this one on Amazon, and you can get multiple if you want, if you don't want to do the dishes like that. But this one is a lot more sturdy. So I'll take my tea. I'll take two teaspoons, like this. And I try to make sure I get an extra leaf in there. Not an extra, but a leaf in there. And I'll go ahead and screw that on. And then I'll take my Divinium Vitality Shilajit. And this is a little hard to work with, so be careful. You gotta use a little bit of muscle in there, so you don't throw it everywhere. And I'll just take a small amount. I try not to scrape the sides of the container so I don't get plastic residue in there. And kind of just take a little like that. And if it looks like it's too much, you can break it off like that. And you'll have a nice small pea-size amount of Shilajit to put in your tea. So we're gonna boil some water. I put only spring water in my tea. So we'll wait for that. We got our cup. We're going to be waiting for the tea to brew, so make sure you take the strainer and move it around so you make sure you get all of that goodness in there. Okay, after a few minutes, it's ready. So go ahead and take that out. We'll unscrew it. What I like to do with my tea strainer is I just like to dump out the herbs and rinse it out so it's ready for the next time. Then we're going to take our little spoonful of Shilajit and we're going to melt it in. I wouldn't touch it to the sides. We're going to just stay like this in the middle so it melts and it doesn't get stuck somewhere in the cup. I'm going to take a minute. Make sure that it's all the way melted. Nice. So now our Shilajit is in our tea. Now I'll take our teaspoon and kind of just wipe it off a little bit because we scooped our tea with it. And then we'll go ahead and take a scoop of organic matcha tea. I just get this at Whole Foods. They also have it at Sprouts. And it's not the spiced one, it's the plain one. Because the spiced one has root vegetables and we're supposed to stay away from that. So we'll put a teaspoon of matcha in there. And I use the same spoon to stir it around. A lot of people like to use a fancy stirrer, a fancy like special matcha whisk, but I think that using a spoon is just fine. So after that, we'll just go ahead and hit it with plain room temperature water so it cools down and it's ready to drink. I don't put any sweeteners, I don't use that, and no sweeteners in that because we're not supposed to be eating any calories or any food until 1 p.m. I only eat from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. But that is your tea for right when you wake up, right in the morning. So just so you guys know, as I did show you that I do use matcha and green tea, you also have the option of getting yerba mate. I would recommend getting the loose leaf because all their pre-made drinks, they have added ingredients in them. So you can get the loose leaf with our tea strainer that I showed you, and this should be just fine. The only reason why I like to use matcha instead of yerba mate is because it has a lot of stem cells in it, and I don't like to have to worry about my stem cells. So if you're using yerba mate instead, I would recommend eating things like blueberries or other foods that have a good amount of stem cells in there so you're not lacking anything. The tea has a bit of a bitter taste, but it becomes very sweet if you get used to it. So when you drink the tea for the first couple times, it may not taste very good to you, but you will get used to it. And when you get to the end of the tea, everything settles to the bottom. So make sure you stir it up a little bit and make sure you drink every last drop. So you make sure that you get any residual shilajit, any matcha that's still left at the bottom. You have to be a little strong right here, but it's definitely worth. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get ready to go out into the sun. We're going to put on a half top, we're going to put on some shorts, we're going to put our hair up, and we're going to lay in the sun for 30 minutes. Usually I get some headphones and I put on some music or I listen to some tarot. And I need you to remember that we do this every single day because with a vitamin D deficiency, you're going to start feeling pretty bad. Also, I do not put on any SPF, no SPF at all, because with our alkaline tea, our alkaline diet, we will not burn in the sun because now your body is alkaline. Also, we're not going to be using any sunglasses. We're just going to go straight into the sun and take it in. Now, when you're laying out in the sun, you got to take off your socks so you can get the full effect and also ground yourself with the earth. Now, after we get out in the sun, we're going to be doing some yoga because it is my weekend. On the weekend, I do yoga, and during the weekdays, I do my regular stretches that I would use for the gym. Okay? So what you can do is you can look up yoga on YouTube and have a follow along. I like this one, this 15-minute daily yoga. That one's really nice. It's not too intensive. And also, when you are doing your sun and your yoga or stretches, you can make this work around your schedule. So, say you work in the morning, you can do your sunlight after work. I would recommend doing your stretches before work, of course. So you have your tea, do your stretches, go to work, come back and get into the sun. But for me personally, I work at night for my main job, and then I have another job that's appointment based, so I don't have to do that one all the time. Thank you to my manifestation work for that one, for the perfect timing, which I will show you guys how to do later. But yeah, you can really just do your yoga and sunlight after you get home, whatever works for your schedule. Also, if you're like me and you haven't gotten around to getting a yoga mat, you can simply fold up a blanket and do it like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do our yoga and we'll be back. Okay guys, so we just got our sunlight, we did our yoga, and we will either do some work or it's 2 o'clock right now. So like I said earlier, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is our eating window. I'm still eating every day, unfortunately, but we're supposed to be fasting for personal reasons that I won't mention, but I'll be on fasting later on this year, maybe, or next year. But from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., we'll start eating and we'll do more work. So, yeah, after you do all that, you can just work on something, or I'll show you my lunch right now. Alright, so this is my copper water. I've been letting it sit for 12 hours. I have my copper water every 12 hours. A cup like this, it doesn't have to all the way be full because it is a pretty big cup and I'm a small person. But yeah, we'll have one of these every 12 hours. After you finish a cup of copper water, you're gonna have to refill it and let it sit again immediately, okay? Immediately. You might want to have these in the morning, depending on your schedule. So I work at night, I get off pretty late. So I have my second cup of copper water at midnight to 1 a.m. So I like to have my copper water at 1 p.m. when I start. Okay, so we just drunk all of our copper water. So this is about the time that right after you drink it, if you see some oxidation on the side, you can go ahead and clean it with lemon and salt. But mine's not too bad, so I'll just go ahead and refill it. I'll take my Evan water right here. I buy the packs at Whole Foods. And we'll go ahead and fill that up again. Not all the way, and then we'll just put our lid on so nothing gets inside, and we'll just let that sit for another 12 hours until 1 a.m. tonight, and we'll go ahead and have our second cup. So the first thing that we're going to be eating today, we're gonna have some fruit, of course. So I'm a Gemini sun, and my cell salt deficiency is going to be in apples. Now, you can buy the Hearth book from Embodiment Celestial, and they're going to tell you, based on your sign, what you have your cell salt deficiency in. That is why with the Geminis, you see in movies or animations that people eat an apple while they're reading a book. Or another thing that you need to know with the apples is that in movies, you see people rubbing apples on their shirt. That is a practice that you can do. When I wash my apples, I make sure I rub it with my hands really good, because that will be the practice to eliminate evil spirits that are living in the fruit. So we'll go, also, one more thing, I'm sorry. One more thing. When you are born on the cusp is the 7-day period before we switch signs during the year. When you're born on the cusp, it could be a good idea to make sure you have cell salt deficiency foods for both of those signs. So say, for example, I'm on the cusp of Gemini and Taurus. So the Taurus cell salt deficiency is going to be kale. So I'll have some kale and I'll have apples too, just so you can make sure that you get the both of them. So let's make our apple. We got our chia seeds right here, organic. Oh, it's a little hard to do this with one hand, sorry. And we'll just sprinkle some right there. Sprinkle some right here. Let's put that rest of it back in. And what I like to do is, I live in a city where we have lots of resources, lots of different things. And I have a shop that I go to that sells organic local honey, or pure local honey. And we'll just go ahead and put some honey on here. And then, of course, clean off the side of the bottle when you're done. Sorry. We'll get some more honey. I really, really like this. Getting pure honey, raw honey from a local farmer is always going to be your best option rather than buying it at the store. So that's real nice right there. We'll clean off the side of that. Another fun fact, another thing that you could be doing, so right now is the Mercury retrograde. It is a good idea to have things like citrus and mint and smelling lavender. Put lavender in your bath using blue, yellow, white candles. But anyway, since it is Mercury retrograde, we're going to be using a citrus honey, orange blossom honey. Citrus for the retrograde. So right now we're cooking up some chickpeas in some avocado oil, and then we're going to add our kale in and some spices for a very simple chickpea salad. So what I do with my chickpeas, I don't buy the canned, I buy the dried chickpeas and I let them soak overnight. So with our little salad right here, we could go ahead and season with some pink salt. We got onion powder. I'm using what I already have, but you are supposed to be staying away from root vegetables because they don't touch the sun, but we're just using what we already have right now until we run out. I like to put basil. Kale is also really good with thyme, so we'll put some thyme in there. And I'll put just a bit of parsley in there, but not too much, so it doesn't throw off the flavor. You can go ahead and mix that around, and you have a simple kale chickpea salad. It's cooked, by the way. If you want to, you can get this organic Irish sea moss powder. It's not lab made, it's just dried plants powdered up. And you can put a bit of that sea moss powder in your salad and mix that up real good so you can have that extra boost. And lastly, I'll have maybe 1 or 2 figs and this Who brand chocolate, Human. The reason why I like this brand is because it's organic, vegan, no cane sugar. They actually use, let's see if it'll focus. Well, the ingredients say right here, unrefined coconut sugar, organic cacao, organic, it's all organic too, so it's vegan, organic, and they use coconut sugar instead. This is a really good brand, and I'll have maybe like 1 or 2 squares of this. Right now it is Mercury retrograde, so we're going to use some mint for extra support, but usually I would be getting the vanilla flavor instead. We're going to finish off our meal with some coconut water, no sugar added. Alright guys, so it's roughly 3:30 p.m. I did take a little bit longer today to make sure I can teach you guys. It is my weekend, so we're gonna get some work done, and I'll be back later, maybe in a few hours, to give you some more information. Okay guys, it is 5:30 right now. I just got ready so I can go teach my other class. Of course, we are a bit late on our eating schedule today because I need to make sure that I can teach you and show you what I'm doing. So right now we're making some more tea. We're making some more alkaline tea as I showed you this morning. And the difference is that we are not going to be adding in our shilajit. We already take our daily dose. We only take that one time, so no shilajit this time. And instead of using our matcha powder, it could be very expensive. So I'm just using some green tea, regular green tea for our caffeines today. And since it is still eating time, we can go ahead and throw some honey in our tea. Now we have these date rolls, organic coconut date rolls. These are really good. We have some ripe figs. These ones are about to go bad, so I might as well eat them. We have some cucumbers right here. And we have the avocado oil seaweed. And I only get this one, specifically the avocado oil, because it is on the Dr. Sebi list, and all of the other flavors have other ingredients in them, but this is a simple 3-ingredient snack. So just a little quick snack, and then after this we're not going to eat any more today. Another tip for you guys, I also learned this from Embodiment Celestial, of course, and that is when you're not in your eating period during the day, so right now it's 7 p.m., you can have sparkling carbonated water out of your eating window to trick your body into thinking that you're full. So I got this actually at Whole Foods. It's 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 sodium, organically flavored. And this will help you get through the rest of your day when you think that you're going to be hungry. And they also mentioned that carbonated water is actually pretty bad for you. So I would only use this as a temporary solution until you get used to it, that you're not eating at certain hours of the day. Of course, we need to make sure our digestive system is working with the sun, because it's all about the light meaning the sun, literally. So every weekend when I have my off days from work, I like to do a mussel salt soak and a chamomile bath. Chamomile is really good for breaking up any hexes, curses, negative energy. This one is from Sprouts, and it has lavender and patchouli in there, which are also really good herbs to have. Patchouli is really great for exiting negative energy. So in the bath, I'm going to massage out my muscles with a little bit of this herb, so we can have this weekly little cleanse right here. Of course, what we're going to do while we're in the bath, we're going to do our regular body soap, our shampoo bar, our conditioner bar, and we have a shaving cream bar. We'll go ahead and I'll also clip my nails, I'll do my cuticles. And we also have this Osea salt scrub. So we're going to use all this in the bath and really reset for this next upcoming week, so we feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and feeling good. So at the end of the day, after I take my bath, I usually have this estro support tea. I would recommend taking it after work at the end of your day because it makes you pretty sleepy. So anytime during the day, usually before I get into meditation, I like to do a quick Reiki session. So this one's only 10 minutes. I really like this channel, Healing and Beyond. He does all sorts of Reiki and he's very good. So of course with the moon phase, I like to go with their moon phases. So when you're coming on the moon phase into empty, it's good to remove things. So we're going to remove other people's energy. But let's see on his channel. Yeah, removing anything blocking right now. So when we're coming onto the full moon, we will do maybe like abundance. We'll bring in love. Okay, yeah, so right now, coming on to the empty moon, we'll remove intrusive thoughts, we'll remove other energies, removing blockages. But coming on to the full moon, we're going to be thinking about bringing things in. So maybe like healing, you want to bring in healing. You want to bring in money, make money flow. So I will show you over time when the moon changes, me actively doing it in real time, okay? So yeah, I like to do a quick Reiki session before I go into my meditation, just so I can not have certain energies interfering when I want to do my work. So after I had my bath, I had my tea, I'm really, really relaxed now. So now we can go ahead and meditate, and I'm gonna show you how I sit down for my meditation, because there's a specific way. You can't just like sit. You have to actually come into your sitting. So remember, in through the nose, out through the mouth when you're breathing for your meditation. So you start standing, and in through the nose, lift, out through the mouth, come down. And do this a couple times. In, out. Okay? After a couple times now, you can put your arms out to your side. Out. In. Out. After a couple times, you can go ahead and start lowering to your knees while still breathing. Until it feels comfortable, and then you can go down like this. And you can go ahead and sit down in your desired position. So I like to do the full lotus because I can, like so. But there are different positions that you can look up on the internet for that. And so after you sit down, you're not ready yet. What you do is you kind of feel your surroundings. So you'll walk your hands forward while still breathing and kind of just stretch into that for a moment. Then you walk your hands slowly over to the right or left. This is my left. And stay there. My hat fell. And then you're going to come back into the middle. And then we're going to go over to the right side and feel that for a moment. You come back to center and walk your hands back up, and now you're ready to start meditating. Remember, you don't want any socks on. You want to have bare feet. And when you're meditating, when you're doing your red chakra, you are required to be in a sitting position. I know a lot of people like to use... They like to lay down for their meditation, but when you're doing chakra balancing in particular, you have to be sitting down. You can't be laying down. So this is, now you're ready for red, orange. Remember, left hand on the bottom. Yellow with left hand over. Green is gonna be like red, but reversed. Blue is going to be the basket with your hand. The third eye is going to be like this. And your crown chakra is going to be like that. So now you know, remember the left hand is going to be over the right hand, okay? So now you know how to properly sit down to have a real meditation. So you're not just forcing yourself into it, you actually have this place where you come into it. So after we do our meditation, I will use the reference book that we have right here, and we'll pick out some incense to help cleanse the energy. So right now we're at the waning moon, the moon going into empty, right? The moon going into empty. So we're going to be focusing on clearing things out. So this is good for clearing. This one is good for clearing. This one is good for charging and protection. And so we're going to be removing any negative things, removing items, clutter in the house. And when we're coming into the full moon, I'll show you that a little bit later. When we have the full moon coming in, we'll be focusing on bringing things in. So of course, we'll start back to front, top to bottom. We'll make sure the house is a bit tidy right now. It's not like a full deep cleanse like we do for the full moon, but this is going to be like my weekly or daily little clearing that I like to do. So we tidy up the house, make sure everything is decently clean. It doesn't have to be deep, but we'll start cleansing ourselves. We'll use the incense to cleanse our hands first, top to bottom. I'll show you guys how to do that in depth later when we get to that lesson. And we'll go ahead and cleanse the house as well real quick, just to go back to front, top to bottom, just to make sure anything from the outside is not inside. Of course, when you have to go to work, you bring outside energies inside, so it's good to like regularly, quickly get rid of those. And of course, at the end of the day, after I get home from work, even at midnight on my weekend, every single day, we drink another cup of copper water. Okay? So 2 of these every 12 hours, right? And again, after you drink your cup, see we're empty now, immediately refill it so you can let it rest for 12 hours. Let it soak. The reason why we let it soak for 12 hours is that the trace copper of the cup, so you want the copper in your body, so trace amounts of copper will come into the water if you let it sit for a while. And that's how we get our copper, because copper in the body, it helps you absorb other vitamins and nutrients. It helps like as a support for that. So we're gonna let this sit for another 12 and have another later. Okay, thank you for watching my daily routine. That was my weekend routine, but of course, instead of yoga, we do stretches and we go to work every day, of course. But I hope this helped you out. I'm not gonna say that this is an idea. I'm gonna tell you that you should probably do it the way I told you to. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and you get a lot from it. Of course, make adjustments for what time you need to do each thing, but thank you for watching and have the day you deserve.